Stefan, welcome. Just help us if you would understand how innovation and green tech are key to reaching net zero.
Well, we know from a study which we did a couple of years ago that in order to get to net zero, about a third of what needs to be achieved can be done with existing technology, think wind, solar. Another third needs to be achieved by scaling technologies which exist but are not at scale. And then a full third requires 0 to 1 innovation. So really coming up with stuff which doesn't exist yet. So clearly innovation in all its aspects is key to getting to net zero.
Talk to me about the growth, if you would, of climate tech over the past few years.
Yeah, look, climate tech has been one of the fastest growing segments of the overall venture capital industry over the last few years, really globally. So that's encouraging to see. We had an earlier phase, a green tech investment phase about 10, 15 years ago, which was not super successful at the time because many technologies weren't mature yet. But the more recent technology investments in this climate tech space are very, very hopeful. And it's interesting, we've seen a correction of asset prices in the technology sector, obviously over the last couple of months and quarters. In many sectors, not so much in climate tech. So people continue to be quite bullish about that space.
What do you put that growth down to of recent years?
Yeah, look, I think what's special about this whole climate tech space is that there's not a million ways to get to net zero. We pretty much know what needs to happen. So for example, we need obviously tons of renewable energies. We need a hydrogen economy. We need technologies that enable us to capture carbon. So many of the ways to get to net zero are directionally clear. And so it's obviously interesting for investors to invest in certain segments of these technologies at least.
What about the climate tech startup environment in Europe? What's the potential there? What impact do you think that could have?
The European startup community in climate tech is particularly strong and growing. They're obviously benefiting from some of the regulation which is very pro climate transformation across Europe. And we see some incredible growth there in the last couple of years as well. There are lots of examples, including companies that develop carbon markets, circularity models, and many others.
What do you see as the biggest opportunities in this space for corporations with green tech?
So corporations, when they invest in new businesses, we always tell them to look for what we call the unfair advantage. So they need to bring something to the table from the existing business, which helps them build a new business. And so, of course, that unfair advantage depends on the industry you're in. But in particular in Europe, with many of the more traditional industries like steel, cement, and others, there are tremendous opportunities there to invest in ways to produce these materials in a more sustainable way.
Stefan, thank you so much.
Thank you.